Hello! We are doing Little Missionary Club and our Peculiar Science with Pinky. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm blessed. Always blessed. Always blessed. So today our story was about Elijah. And it was back when Elijah called on God to cease the rain, to stop the rain. And the king got really mad, right? And so finally Elijah said, okay, call all your prophets. Let's go up to the mountain. And you have an altar. I'll have an altar. Whoever's God, since on the fire, that's the one true God that burns the altar, right? So it's actually found in 1 Kings chapter 18. It's a wonderful story of God showing who he is. And he is the one and only God, right? So today Pinky has a plate here with a dime and a cup with matches. So what are we going to do here today?
I've got a little bit of water I'm going to pour in.
Okay, she's pouring water on this little saucer. I can see the water.
Where you will cover up the dime.
Oh, wouldn't it be neat to put a little food coloring in it too? So that you could see the water? I mean, we can see it there. But if we put a little food coloring, then maybe it'll be an easier example. So Pinky's going to grab food coloring while I am ready with a match. But here's something about the matches. Matches are dangerous. They can cause a lot of devastation. Children should never, ever use matches. If there's an experiment you want to do like this, please always have your parent with you and have supervision. So we are going to have Pinky put a little food coloring in here so that we can see the water in what it's going to do. All right.
I have blue food
She has blue food coloring, and this is a gel. So the gel is a little harder to mix, but we can do it. Go ahead and put some in. Yeah, we can do that. All right. So we're going to get some blue coloring here. So as you can see, the color is starting to kind of swish around. So now water is not actually blue. If you put water in a jar, you see that it's clear, correct? Unless it has a lot of sediment in it. The reason water looks blue in the ocean is why? Do you know?
It reflects on the sky.
It's the reflection from the sky, right? Okay, so we have our water here. That is blue. Now what are we going to do next?
Now we're going to light the matches.
We're going to light the matches. Now remember, she has a dime in here, and what are you going to do with this dime?
I am going to very carefully get the dime out of the water without getting very, very wet.
She's going to get the dime out of the water without getting wet. Well, I see that it's down in the water, so let's see what happens here.
Oop. Be very careful with matches.
Yes, be very careful. And ladies, keep your hair away because it can go up quickly. Okay, so this is burning here. Let's see if that's gonna go ahead and burn the rest of those matches. Okay, so we have fire. Okay, and what are we gonna do now?
Very carefully place this jar.
Oh, well, I think we need a wide mouth jar. Go get a wide mouth jar. We did not test this to see. Go ahead. To see if this would fit over our experiment. So as we know, science experiments can sometimes go wrong. One time it went wrong where a water balloon burst and went all over my computer. And that was not a good science experiment mess up. But today, we are going to be much more careful, aren't we?
I think that even if it can fit over it, and it's hard to fit over, you should get a bigger one anyway.
Yes. So make sure you have one. Go ahead and just make sure it fits over.
Okay, that one.
Always check it out
It would
first.
just barely fit over, but it wasn't good enough.
Here we go. We're going to start it again. Up.
Oh.
That went out as
Make
soon
sure
as I touched
you
it.
don't have a dud match.
Yeah. Whew. And it stinks. Smells like fireworks in here. Okay, here we go.
That's part of science, trial and error.
Yes, experimentation, right? Oh my. Here we go. So we've got fire. Come on. There we go. Okay, so we have the fire. Now remember, she's going to pick up the dime without getting wet. So go ahead. Now she's going to put her jar. Well, do you see that? Do you see what it did? It sucked the water up inside and there's no more water in the saucer. Can you see Pinky? She's astonished. She's astonied. And she picked up the dime without getting wet. Do you see that? it sucked up the water.
Wow.
That's amazing. That was an amazing trick. So we can't really see you here. There you are. But wow, do you see that? Now, of course, you can see the water is in the jar. We did this before with a metal cup and you couldn't see the water. So we decided to do something with glass. And if you look here, it's doing something really neat on the side. It's sucking up. It's still sucking and little water bubbles are coming up the side. It's really neat. But if we pick it up, you'll see that the water will come back down. And also those matches, you can't reuse them or relight them because they get wet from all of the moisture in there. And if you look at the glass, that's not smoke. That's actually like condensation. It's dripping down the side.
You saw that it sucked up the water and flipped the little container over.
It did.
And it put out the matches.
Yes, it put out the flame. It extinguished the flame. And it sucked the water up. So how does this apply to our walk with the Lord, Pinky?
Well, if you have the living water, the gospel of the Lord, and you're saved, then you won't have to go through the hellfire. It will extinguish it.
The living water extinguishes the hellfire. It eliminates the opportunity of that. And we know that Jesus is the living water. He said at the well, to who was it?
Said at the well to the woman.
The woman, right? And what was that woman? She was a what? She was a Samaritan, correct? That didn't usually talk to Jews, right? But Jesus talked to her and said, I am the living water. And he is the living water, and he can nourish our souls, just as on a really hot day, a cold drink can, but even more so than that. God is our living water. And this was a neat experiment. Thank you so much for showing us that. And you can do this at home, but please make sure you are with your parents and that they are helping you to do that.
And if you want to get it right the first time, be sure you have a jar that will fit over it.
Yes, and this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. But wait a minute. What did we say before? It's not our light that shines. It's God's light. Right. This light of God's here. I'm going to let it shine. This light of God's here, I'm going to let it shine. This light of God here, I'm going to let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Thank you, Pinky, for helping us to learn this today. We hope you have a wonderful day and have a blessed time as a little missionary going out and spreading God's word.